Hello, everybody, and welcome to another session of How to Improve Your Photos with Good Composition. And this is a photo anybody could have taken. It's actually not uncommon to have a tree-lined street and take a picture down it. It happens to be foggy this morning. This is in Oak Park, Illinois. The moral of this story is if it's foggy outside, go out and take some photos and then watch some videos and improve them. So if you don't know by now, what I always say is look for the story and look for the things that are not the story. So the story is the street, the trees. This is fall picture. The leaves are slightly changing in this one. And we have this progression of the trees going down the street into the fog where they become more faded and faded and faded. So the viewer is directed down the street. And then my other question I ask is what takes away from the story? That's the main story, and what takes away from it. And so things that take away from it are high contrast areas around the edges. So these are high contrast. Your eye is going to go there. And we don't want the eye to go there because there's nothing there to tell. That's not the story. I would say this is kind of a high contrast area on the edge. The story is not the edge of the photo. I would say this area and this area aren't relevant, and there's too much road there. When you have a road or a body of water or a repetitive pattern, even trees and leaves, less is always more. So your brain will fill in what's missing, and you don't need to show everything. So less is always more. All right, let's get started. What we're going to do is, first of all, I'm going to pull up this road because we don't really need it. I'm going to pull this down at the top because I don't want those high contrast areas. It's nice to have, sometimes it's nice to have trees at the top in the foreground just to frame the picture, but that's not needed here. Let's talk about the left and the right. I'm going to plan on cropping it like about here and about here. And here's why. We have this nice shape. It borders the picture and it pushes our eye inward. And on this side, this frames the photo on the other side. You can't have a frame if you have stuff out here or out here. I always like to frame a photo with a tree or something like that. On the left-hand side here, let me show you something. We have on this tree an area dark and an area light. So again, we want to avoid high contrast around the edges of the photo because our eye is going to be drawn there. So I'm going to crop it right. I'm going to do my best to crop it right there so that we only have this area. On the left-hand side, I'm just going to pull this in about here. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to pull it in right about there. And I'm going to call that done. Actually, I'm not, because it's on the right-hand side, there is a little gap between that trunk and the edge of the frame, the high contrast area. Somebody's eye will eventually go there, and we don't want that because that's not the story. It would be good to have a little bit of that trunk in there, but I'm just going to get rid of it completely. So here's the outcome, and let's compare that to the original. Do you get it? Do you see the difference? Do you see how this tells our story and it removes the stuff that's not needed, and it's easier to look at, it's easier for the viewer to interpret, reflect upon, appreciate. Whereas here we're kind of bouncing all over the place. We're definitely going to go up to the top. Whereas on this one, our eye's going to go everywhere. We're definitely going to look up here. We're going to look down here. We just have so much road that it doesn't add any value. We're going to look over here. We're going to look over here. We're going to probably look around here. We don't need to do all that. We're guiding the viewer into what we want them to see, to our story. So the idea is that you take what you've learned here and apply it to your own photos. And you got some free time, doesn't take very long, just a few minutes, and just start framing your photo in such a way that you're removing the unnecessary content. And you're going to come out with something much better. Then the idea is next time you take a picture, you frame it better from the beginning, so you have you start off with a much higher quality photo. So with that, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hate asking you that. I can't even get my friends to like and subscribe, so maybe you guys will. And if you have any comments or questions, please add them in the section below. Maybe got a good joke or two you can put in there. And I will see you in the next video.